This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk radio like you've never heard it before.
It's Albert's Public House on GABNet, and the pub panel is open. I'm going to call it the pub panel from now on because citizen panel to me sounds a little too formal for a place that is a pub. We're all citizens, and of course GABNet is the home of the citizen panel, but I'm going to call it the pub panel. I'm going to try it tonight. We'll see what happens. And the first person on the pub panel is going to be called the bouncer. It's no longer the four-person. It's too formal. It's just too formal. So David Hayek today is the bouncer of the pub. He's the bouncer of the pub. And Ren is here, and Rob is here, and Teresa is here. And if you'd like to be on the pub panel, you can go to Skype, type in GABNet.net, and you will be on the pub panel, but you can't be the bouncer because David is the bouncer. And the responsibilities, of course, are the same as the four-person of the citizen panel, but you can throw around your weight a little more. You will be able to check IDs on the way in, too. So make sure that these are, in fact, the people they say they are, David. Being a bouncer, that's one of your jobs. And you will keep a list as well of the people who were banned from the bar, like the door person does at many of the finer clubs and bars in any good city. So you're in charge of all that, okay? You got it as the bouncer of the pub panel? David? Yes, okay, good. So it's Albert's Public House on GABNet, live on the Great American Broadcast app for Android and Windows devices. All information on everything on GABNet is in one place, GABNet.net. GABNet.net is the place to go. You want to email me, you can email me at radioalbert@gmail.com. I don't even care about Twitter anymore. It's Albert's Public House at 9 Eastern, Alex Bennett's Ramble at 10 Eastern, Revelstoke Jim's Canadian Content Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at midnight, Getting Geeky with Miranda Janelle Tuesday and Thursday at midnight, and Rob Alfano's GABNet Rewind all weekend long right here on GABNet. All the information on GABNet.net. Let me tell you something. I was speaking with a colleague of mine, a broadcast colleague from many, many years. We've been friends, haven't worked together for a long, long time, but we've been friends for quite a long time. In fact, I've done character bits for this person on several stations across the country for many years because they are in charge of a group of stations, and we've always had a good time doing some bits. They also have their own show. In fact, the bit that was going on for the last couple of years that I was doing, phoning in, was based on a caller from the satellite show. I won't say just who, but you may stumble upon that character in your travels around the country. But I won't say who. And of course, I couldn't say at the time that I was working at the satellite company because they really didn't want me working for someone else. And although I didn't take payment, it still was me doing the character on there. But I was speaking with this person who's been in the industry for ages and has a little bit of pull, and they wanted to know whether they listen to the show very often, by the way, and they like the show. Obviously, if they like me, they'll probably like the show. They wanted to know if we could talk seriously for an hour. And I said, well, we've had serious discussions about politics, specific things in politics. And I said, sure we can. And I have some replays that I can send you. And I sent it to them. And I wanted to speak about something as well, which is on a more serious basis, because I'm I don't even think I've mentioned this, between the app, which was just released, the Feels Me app, which you guys have been very generous in testing and telling me problems, and my partner James problems with it, and well, not really problems, but concerns about it. But I've also started a book recently. In fact, my wife didn't believe it until she came in today and saw me writing the book, and she said, "My God, it looks just like a book." I said, "Well, yeah, that's what a book looks like. It's got chapters, and it's got a title page, and the whole thing, like a book does. It's laid out just like a book." I said, and she knew I was writing it. She knew I planned to write it, but like a lot of people, she thought, "Oh yeah, he's never going to do that," and I am, because I have the time. So what the hell? One of these crazy notions that I have may catch on. I don't know, but the book revolves pretty much around the nature of things. And specifically because it's me about existentialism. That's what the thesis of the book is based on, existentialism. And I wanted to know if maybe we could spend, it doesn't have to be the whole show, but maybe we can spend some time talking about some serious stuff and how it affects us and why it affects us. And more importantly for me, because the nature of the book is existentialism, why we care that it affects us. And I know it does, and I've mentioned this kind of thing before, and I've mentioned, why should I give a damn about anything that goes on around me and not just care about me being able to get through it and by myself and helping only those people in my small circle that I care to help. And I'm going to start off the conversation today. Oh, let me say hello to the people on the pub panel. It's the bouncer, David Hayek. Rob is with us, as I said. Rin is with us. Josh is with us. Teresa's with us. Charlene is trying to be with us, I think. And Rick is with us. If you'd like to get on the pub panel tonight, you can get on Skype. Type in GABNet Live. Excuse me, I just poured a nice glass of soda, so I got some bubbles in my stomach. Type in GABNet Live, and you will join the pub panel as well. It's an offshoot of the citizen panel, not for the light of heart or for the drinkers who want to join us. It's the pub panel. So those are the people on the panel so far. I'm going to go down some information that I gleaned, as I do every night for the show, Albert's Public House, every night, and just give you a little information about it. And if you'd like to talk about it, we can. But the gist of my conversation today is, why does anybody care about this among the people that are sitting around the pub panel now? Does anybody care about this? And if so, why do you care about it? To what end? What is the purpose of us caring about it? So let me bring up a couple of things. One of them, a major thing that I thought was interesting today, was U.S. officials say military troops have landed on one of Iraq's mountains. State Department said that troops are there to focus on a humanitarian mission, and they are not there in a combat role. What that means regarding boots on the ground, I have no idea, but I'm assuming boots are on the ground. So that's one story. And again, as it relates to, do we care? And if we do, why? Another one is the Palestinian delegation says it's agreed to extend the humanitarian truce in Gaza for another 5 days. But I don't know even if that truce is in effect. It said that the the Israeli military said that at least 5 rockets were fired from Gaza into Israel just before the previous ceasefire was to expire. Apparently it's expired already. I've talked about this. We've talked about this situation in Gaza before, not really at length, because most of us really didn't give a damn. It just didn't mean that much to us. It was the same old, same old. But if it weren't, if it were a one-time thing, would we care, and why? The next thing, not really a huge story, but President Obama is meeting with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton tonight, getting together this evening on Martha's Vineyard. I've been reading reports. I don't know the exactitude, the preciseness of these reports. whether President Obama said before he ran for office whether he in fact would never take a vacation, which is a ridiculous thing to say, I think, or whether people are just blowing smoke because he's taking a vacation. He's got to take a vacation. He's the president. He does a lot of work. I don't care who the president is, like him or hate him, you got to take a vacation. But he's meeting with Hillary Clinton tonight. They will have a party on Martha's Vineyard, and I don't know what that's about, but apparently the First Lady has had a signing there today for her latest book, Hard Choices. What else? What else of any real impact? I don't know. We can go on with whatever you want. If you want to bring it up, and why do we care, and why is it paid so much attention? And really, this is a nothing story, and there's no need to pay any attention to it. But the other ones, I think, have some meaning in the world, have some meaning maybe in relation to our lives. What I was getting at was Robin Williams. I still keep seeing tons of stuff on Robin Williams, and I don't care about Robin Williams or his daughter quitting social media, or Broadway turning off the lights and paying tribute. I don't care. So that, I can tell you, does not matter to me. Cisco is cutting 6,000 jobs. That may be something you want to discuss, whether that is important, or does that affect me? Is that important? And why it would be important. Don't know necessarily, but those are the things I'm throwing on the table tonight. The Citizen Panel is the pub panel tonight. It is open. If you'd like to be a part of it, along with the people who are here already, you can get on Skype, type in GABNet Live, one word, and you are on. Hello, everybody. Anybody want to jump in with anything specific? Anybody want to jump in and dovetail on the importance of really anything, or the fact that we talk about it? See, I really think it is important as people to at least discuss things. I think it's very important to be social. I had this conversation the other day about meals being a very important part of life, and that's going by the wayside, especially with children. I think it's very important. I think meeting with people, getting together with friends, which I can tell you is not done nearly as much as it had been in the past. For me, anyway. Everybody's too busy. Everybody's got stuff with the kids. No, I got so many things to do with the kids, I can't sit down with friends. So it's email back and forth. And to me, I have to say, I don't really care. I don't really care about your emails. I don't really care about seeing your crap on Facebook. It's not that important to me. And even if I were sitting down with you, is that important? Or do we really? Is there no end to what we're doing in life? Rick, start it off.
Okay.
Help me out in figuring out what's going on. And I'm happy that you are here with your wife, because I think that is important. I think connections with people are extremely important. People look for it high and low, everywhere they go. I know I did when I didn't have somebody to share my life with. I looked online. I looked in places where I was social. It's very important. So, Rick, go ahead. I'm sorry. I won't jump. I won't jump.
No, that's all right. I
enjoy
listening. Yeah, it is important, and the thing you discussed with the meals, but I can make an argument that every one of the topics that you discussed is important, and we should care.
Okay.
What happens is a lot of these things don't directly affect us today, but all of those things do have some impact on our lives somewhere down the road. And if you just stick your head up your ass, yeah, you may feel it doesn't bother me, it has no impact, but it does, and frequently it's an indirect impact. And if you're not intelligent enough to examine what's going on, you'll never realize the impact it has on you.
Give me a for instance. Okay. You can bring up something that I haven't discussed, or you can bring up one of the things that I have discussed. Rob, you're up next. Go ahead, Rick.
Okay. Yeah, okay, let's just take the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's been going on for how long?
Centuries.
All right, right, exactly. Now we sit here and we say, we favor Israel over the Arab states, unless it's Saudi Arabia because they give us oil. We do our own thing there. But by ignoring that, okay, we ignore it, and we do one stupid thing after another, and what happens? We create more terrorists. So even though you've done nothing, a direct cause of all this stuff, of just not giving a shit and not paying enough attention to what really needs to be done, results conceivably in the in 9/11. or some other form of terrorism.
Okay, but
so
now
again,
you use the collective we specifically in as much as it refers to governments, in as much as it refers to the people that govern our states.
Okay, I'll take it another step.
Okay, take it another step. But let me clarify what I'm going to say. That even though I'm an informed individual and I know what's going on, I understand how long this has been going on. I'm not the kind of guy who has his head up his ass most of the time. Some of the time, I certainly do, and I'll acknowledge.
Place to be.
Yeah, and I'll acknowledge that. Well, there it is. Rick and Teresa's clip for sales. Will certainly illustrate that, I'm sure. But I just wanted to say that, and then I'll get back after you're done and see if I have to have a rebuttal for why I still might not care. And Rob, I know you're still up next. Go ahead, Rick.
Okay. Yeah. So what happens is, again, early on I said direct. So it impacts, it's kind of the collective we. The individual in and of himself really can't do that much. All right. But if enough of us get together, and this was evidenced during Vietnam, that enough people got together and put enough pressure on the forces to be, that something was able to be done. So you need to move in that direction. One individual in and of themselves, yeah. So if you want to take the attitude of, yeah, fuck it, it doesn't matter because I don't matter as one individual. But you as an individual can spread that to other individuals, and then you come together as a group, and then maybe you can have an impact. We're all tied together at all times.
Okay, well, we'll hold off on that point. I still don't really understand to what end we do that, but I'm going to get back to you on that because that's going to be the ultimate. That's going to be the ultimate question after we go around and around and around this evening. Is to what end? Rob, go ahead.
Well, there's no definitive end. That's
see, that will be my point as an existentialist. Now, hold on to that thought. Rob, go ahead. And Teresa, you're next.
Damn.
Hot
so
man.
For me, I don't suffer fools too easily. And just like what you said about the Middle East, it's been going on for years. Violence begets violence, right? Caring, understanding what's going on, but I don't care because there is nothing collectively that I as a person can do. And so because of that, I'm not going to go through my day and make it destroy my day. I'm going to do the best I can with what I'm given here to live with. I watched the program. I've been watching the 60s, that series on CNN. I have a whole bunch of them queued up on my DVR. And I watched the other night, I watched the one on the civil rights movement in the 60s with Martin Luther King. And I will tell you that I was inspired by that because just what Rick said, it took people to get together and march on Washington and try to get things done that actually got things done. The difference is people were fighting for their own and their children's lives. In our case, to mobilize that kind of force in this world, the way we live in it now, and the government is smart enough to know we're not going to ever have a draft again, you're just never going to see it. People are too busy with their TVs and their video games and their iPhones and their computers and their citizen panels to really go out and do anything.
So why should we not care and just go about our business if what you're saying is true? A lot of other people don't care.
I really don't care because there's nothing I can do. And that's why I get frustrated listening to programs where that's all you do is talk about this because you state the obvious. We have these discussions over and over again. We could sit here and we can rewrite history. We could change the world. Nothing is going to get done unless they make changes. And by they, I mean our government and the people who are at the top, not just holding out their dicks saying my dick's bigger than yours. And in a lot of cases, that's the way things are. Oh yeah, you've got the military who's just dying to start pressing buttons, and they're advising the president to press buttons. We got to go. This is what we do. This is what we train for.
Then let me ask you: is there something that you can do? If not, then that's fine. But do you think there's anything that you can do to change this situation at all?
Well,
let's just talk about this Israel
situation. Which is to
situation.
vote out people.
Okay.
But in the end, That's 4 years down the road or 2 years down the road. And then who are you getting in their stead? Another person who's on someone's payroll, who owes so much to the corporations, who owes so much to this certain interest group or that interest group. There's no grassroots candidates anymore.
Would I be wrong in thinking that what you're saying is, screw it, there's no point to it. There's no point to getting involved because it ain't going to change anything.
That's kind of how I feel.
Okay, let me go. I know, Josh, you're waiting to go. Let me go to Teresa, who was next with something to...
I found it interesting that my husband was the first one to speak about this because we don't always agree on the way we can impact other people. Or he's much more of an extrovert than I am. I'm actually more of an introvert, and so communicating with other people is fine for a certain period of time for me, but then I like to be alone. I like my quiet time and everything. But I've always believed that, we're here to really, and I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious, to help other people. And I think the more even if it's just one person that you feel that you can do something, and it might just be, smiling at somebody and making them feel better for the day. I try to do that every day. I don't know if my husband even knows this, but I've tried to go through like Dunkin' Donuts and pay for the person behind me's order. I do that once in a while.
When do you go to Dunkin' Donuts, and which one do you go so I can be behind you?
I know. I've done it, a couple different times, and it makes me feel good. They don't know who I am. I'm not doing it because I want any kind of accolades for it. I'm doing it just because I want to make somebody else feel better, and maybe that will be the thing that will, change their day. Maybe they're having a shitty morning, and that just changes their day.
That's the nature of charity. That's what charity is all about.
Right. So I think that it's, and when you talk about this existentialism, I would have never thought that you would write a book about that.
Well, I said that's the thesis basis for the book.
Okay.
It's not about existentialism. It's deeper than that.
Okay.
But it has roots in existentialism, and it's because I'm essentially an existentialist. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person or says, forget about everything. It doesn't matter anyway, because there are things that matter. And I very much agree with you in that respect. My existential belief is that there's nothing that's going to come of it in the end. I still have yet to figure that out, and I can tell you much of the point is going to be that nobody has a meaning of life. Nobody has what's it all about. Nobody knows that. Nobody has ever figured that out, and I will say that I don't believe anybody will ever figure that out, or it's ever able to be figured out. So that's really the starting point for me. Jeff is shaking his head no. Josh, your turn to chime in.
Well, I just wanted to, I guess, at least make the point to try and, I guess, ask the other side of some of the cynicism that says, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just choose not to, and to ignore it. I mean, I don't know, I guess I happen to believe that there is always a choice. You may not like it, but I do believe that there is always a choice, even in situations where people feel like there's nothing they can do about it,
You've hit on something.
I believe the rise of the Nazi Party, for example, was chock full of people who said, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I believe that at one time those people outweighed the people who said I agree with it. I strongly believe that at one time those people outweighed the people that agreed with it. And they all said, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And then by the time they decided they should do something about it, it was too late. Now, that is one example.
But hold on.
Make a list. I'll give you a bunch more. But
hold on. You're saying that these people said there's nothing I can do about it. I would go as far as to say that they didn't necessarily think there was nothing they could do about it. But why should I do anything about it? It's not going to affect me, and I'd rather not do anything about it because it may affect me adversely. So why bother?
What's the difference, I guess?
I guess there's a point to that.
But it's all just an excuse.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is.
I'm just saying that's what I believe. I believe that, I mean, you can call it, corny or, you can call it stupid or whatever, but I've always held to the fact. I don't know if I can even recall the exact quote that, all it takes for a few bad men to get away with bad things is for a few good men to stand around and do nothing.
Well, that's true.
I'll always believe that.
Well, that's one of the
I never will.
One of the assertions I make is that that there are two things that happen in life that will be the turning point in your life. One is coincidence, which presents opportunities, and the other is making choices, like you said. And when the coincidences happen, you have to make choices in just about every case for whatever happens. And that is the crux of life. But then getting deeper into it is what I'm trying to figure out, what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is is there some rule, is there something we should follow when we get these coincidences and have these opportunities to make choices, and or do we need to? Let me go to Jeff.
Well,
yeah, hi. So following up on that question, when you are presented with these opportunities, what choice do you make? Also falls in line with what you said about everyone's been trying to look for the meaning of life forever and all that kind of thing. Well, what I've discovered is it's really based on your own personal purpose in life. And once you've discovered that, your purpose will guide you. So when these opportunities come up based on your purpose in life, you make that decision. And also a well-defined, well-discovered purpose will show you that there's meaning in your life. I can't discover the meaning of your life, Albert.
Bravo.
But I know the meaning of my life based on a lot of hard work and discovery and finding my purpose in life.
Bravo. That is a good point, and that is a point that I was going to bring up. And that's what I meant by saying, for as long as we've been trying to find the meaning of life, we're not going to find it. There is no one meaning of life. There is no one purpose to life. There is no one reason we are here. We have to find that reason. You're absolutely right about that. No question about it. Let me take Josh again.
But also I wanted to add that, right and wrong and all that kind of stuff, in some ways is judged by society, by the people at large. I mean, we have decided as a group what is right and what is wrong. I guess, for instance, if you complete a doctorate in history, one of the projects that you have to undertake is you take a book, I cannot remember the name of it, that was written by a gentleman who claimed that the Holocaust was just and was right, and that everyone who says it isn't was, they're making things up, etc., etc. And you have to decide why it's historically wrong. And, one of the reasons is that society has, I guess what he's saying is it was justified. And you have to say, one, why it wasn't justified. And then the other half of it probably doesn't pertain here. You have to use historical fact to choose that it was, or to show that it was, BS. But, but the first half of the equation is that, a historian doesn't decide, for example. Society has decided that mass murder is wrong, or et cetera, et cetera. So for
the time being,
yes, that's the point.
Yes,
to say that
that is exactly the point. That's a good point that you made there. I'm glad you mentioned that. That society and culture and upbringing and religion, those are the keystones to how we live. Whether that is right or wrong is something that has to be determined as well.
Yes, those are inputs in the process of the output that we live in.
Exactly. Rob, go ahead.
I just have a simple question for anybody here, because Jeff has mentioned it a bunch of times. Who says there is a meaning to all of this?
Well, that was sort of the point I was getting at. You're talking about the meaning of life, why we're here.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the point I was getting at. Is that I don't think there is a meaning. I don't think there ever will be anybody who can find a meaning, and that the only people that will find meaning in your life are you. That's it. And Jeff said it very well. So yeah, you're agreeing with Jeff.
So it's very subjective. Everybody's meaning is what they are makes them happy.
And there are people who will say, no, you can't even decide the meaning of your life, and they would be right for themselves, I suppose. It is very subjective. Rick, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. That there's no broad meaning of life. My circumstances, I mean, basically, what happens to us is science and nature. We just exist. Okay, why? Who the fuck knows? We do. But what happens is my situation will alter what I feel the meaning of my life is.
Mm-hmm.
If I grow up in the United States and I have some advantages and everything, my meaning of life is going to take on a different meaning than somebody who's growing up, let's say, in some poverty-stricken country, whose meaning of life might just be to survive till the next day. But whatever my meaning of life is in my own little world, I need to do something that to ensure that there's another day for me to move forward in my meaning of life.
Right.
And if I can do anything to alter that and make my chances of survival better, then it's in my own best interest to try to do that. And if you take somebody, it was mentioned earlier about, we don't make a difference in politics. I'll use that as an example. Well, wait a minute. We say, yeah, at the voting booth, my one vote may or may not matter. It depends on where you live. If it's a small town, your one vote might be the difference. However,
hey, I know it matters. I know, man. I was in a vote that was one vote away.
To try to change that system. We can still work within the system. Do you get active in local politics and get a group of people with common thought processes together and then try to change things, or you just go along with the status quo?
Oh, that Rick. He thinks everything is so important. It doesn't matter to me. Right?
I'm
then
saying
what?
It does, whether you realize it or not.
Okay, that's a good point. Let me go to Jeff, who was waiting.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting the words mixed up. Your meaning of life or my meaning of life. Actually, what it really is a purpose.
Purpose,
in
right?
life.
Yes.
That's right.
So if you know your purpose and you know your purpose, then that will guide you in all of your decisions. It's not your meaning of like, okay, this guy's president, so I guess I got to do this. No. What does that mean to your purpose of life? And then you act accordingly. So your purpose, if you're the king of Zumba or picking up garbage and somewhere who cares where, you can both have the same purpose in life.
But you're now keep in mind you're talking about something that is uniquely human that no other animal does. And in fact, quite a few humans don't do it either. They just go about going to the bathroom, taking a crap, going to the kitchen, eating their food, going to the living room, watching their Oprah, and doing it all over and over again, and have no purpose and don't care. Oh, and some of them have a job to go to as well. I don't want to piss off Patrick if he's listening.
Well, that's what they call an unexamined life.
In your opinion, it's an unexamined life.
Yes.
And in your opinion, it's a waste. But as an existentialist, I would not necessarily say that. I would say as long as they have gotten along well with other people, maybe done what Teresa does once in a while, put a smile on somebody's face. If they'd affected no change, they've made no bad change. Then their life was purposeful, I would say. And has the same ending as yours. I don't know. Let me go to Josh again.
But again, I think all of this is only because people in society that believe it outnumber those who don't, because I don't think there's any doubt that you would have to consider it subjective, for example, because whether you want to call it the meaning over the purpose, and purpose is a good word, does a terrorist who straps a bomb to himself and kills other people not believe that his purpose in life is to kill infidels?
Yeah.
Why is that wrong?
Yes,
it is wrong because
right.
the vast majority of us have decided it was wrong.
Well, but the vast majority.
He doesn't believe it's wrong, and he has lots of
perceptions.
people around him who don't believe that it's wrong.
To them,
right?
Perceptions.
To them, the vast majority may be wrong.
Right.
You're absolutely right about that. Let me. I'm going to go to Jason, and then I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a one question, and I would like just a one sentence answer on this question. But let me go to Jason, who has some thoughts on what we were talking about.
I was just going to say, like, when you're saying meaning of life, and then brought up purpose in life, that just seems like it makes you think a lot more, because my purpose in life, I guess that always changes. Now that I've had a kid, my whole world got flipped upside down, and my whole purpose in life is all different now. Now it's all about him. But, just meaning of life, it just seems like that age-old question. But then once you actually say purpose in life, that makes it a lot different. I guess a person's purpose in life is going to keep on constantly changing throughout their life.
Okay, Rick, go ahead.
Okay, let's go back to philosophy 101. So the meaning, the purpose of your life boils down to one thing. You do everything you do, or the motivation for things that you do is all to be happy. And you can trace that back to every goddamn thing that you do.
That's what a lot of the smartest philosophers and religious leaders would say.
I would disagree with that, though.
Okay, go ahead.
I would disagree with that based on what Josh said. Do you think the person that straps a bomb to himself is really happy about that?
Yes, I think that's making them happy.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
Their
are.
purpose does evolve. Their purpose must evolve, holding to Jason's theory, because suicide bombers were not born that way. I mean, from the time they could walk and speak, they didn't dream of, you know what I'm saying?
Going off with the virgins,
they
having
evolve
a
into that.
time.
Right. But they evolve into that role. He's right. The purpose does change. At one point, they were not, and then something happened, or someone convinced them that it was. So it must evolve.
Jeff.
Well, I disagree with Rick on, we do things that'll make us happy, and that's the meaning of the purpose. Hey, maybe I want to smoke an 8-ball of crack, and that'll make me happy tonight. But that does not fall in line with my purpose, so I'm not going to do it. So I disagree with we do things that make us happy. I mean, you may go do something.
No, but I didn't say we do things. I said everything that you do can be traced back to the fact that it does make you happy in some form or another.
Because smoking that 8-ball of crack is going to make you happy at the moment, if that's the way you are.
It is. You'll be remorseful later.
No, I won't do it. I won't do it because it does not fall in line with my purpose. That's my point.
You.
Yeah, that's
your
you.
Purpose.
Doesn't make you happy. Doesn't make you happy. Right.
That's my point.
It might make me happy for the night. I've never done it. Throw in a couple of hookers and maybe we'll see. But I've never done that as my point.
All right. Let's go on to my question then. Let's get on to my question. And I just want one answer. I know this is going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. One line, one sentence answer, and it kind of brings all of this together. Okay, the meaning of life, the purpose of life. Essentially, the question revolves around that, and it's why are we here? Why are we here? You can say anything you want. Just one sentence, though, is what I'm looking for. And yes, one sentence is not enough to cover the scope of this question. I understand that. But we only have another 23 minutes left here, so we can't go through the whole thing. And maybe we'll take a whole other show to go into that. But I mean, this is essentially what it's kind of boiling down to, I think, in this conversation anyway. So the question again is, why are we here? Just one sentence answer. You've had a little while to think about it because I've mentioned the question over and over again. So I'm going to start with, I think, Rin, because right when I asked the question, Rin, looks like you have your answer for why are we here. And I really, what would be great if I could isolate you each in your own isolation booth so you're not affected by the person or people that came before you, but you will be. And that may change your answer, and that may be part of your answer. I don't know. But one sentence, please, one sentence. Don't go over what the sentence that somebody else has with your 6 or 7 sentences. Happily, Doug's not here this evening because he would give me 6 or 7 sentences. All I'm looking for is one sentence. Why are we here? Rin.
We evolved into this.
What?
That's it. We evolved into this.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Who wants to go next, or I'll point at you? Go ahead, Teresa.
I have no fucking idea.
That's it. See, that's a decent answer. A lot of people would have said to me, "Well, you can't accept that as an answer because that's not an answer. That's not a valid answer. You have to answer with something." No, that's a valid answer as far as I'm concerned. I'll get back
Can I just say one thing? I think I know, I know what I need to do or want to do to be happy the rest of my life here, but I really don't know why I'm here. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's fine. Let me go to Rick because Charlene is sleeping. I was going to go to Charlene next, but Charlene is taking a nap. Apparently, this is not the exciting conversation she had hoped for. But Rick, why are we here?
Okay, just before I'll give you a one-sentence answer, but before I do that, apparently we got married for a reason because my answer was going to be, who the fuck knows why we're here?
So you're sticking with that answer?
Yeah, that's
okay.
I don't know why I'm here.
Okay.
I just know I'm here.
Okay, and that's an important question in the scope of what we have discussed for me and for this book that I've started writing. And I want to get feedback on this because as much as we've talked about purpose in life and meaning of life, when you ask a question like that, it really kind of stumps some people as to why we are here. And I'm not saying stumps in a bad way. It just stumps some people. How can I have so much information? How can I know so much stuff about everything that's going on in the world, in the universe? I know so much about science and dark matter and all this kind of stuff. But man, I don't know why we're here. I just don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe I am. Should I be searching? I don't know. Let me go next to who? Who wants why are we here next? I'm going to go to Rob then if nobody picks. Rob.
So I've got the same answer. I don't know that I'm just not deep enough, or as I may be vapid or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have I'm not a deep enough person.
Okay.
To even come up with an answer.
Okay. Let me go to Charlene.
I'm with Rob. Same thing. I don't think I'm deep enough because I don't even wonder sometimes why I am here.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
It's not a question that you would ponder. It's not a question that you would consider answering because you don't know. How about Jason?
Right.
Why are we here?
I guess I was going to say evolution, too. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But, to procreate, to learn, to experience. Oh.
Okay. Jeff, why are we here?
I'm here to have a well-lived life without regret through a higher purpose.
Okay. Let me see. Did I get Rick? I got Josh. Why are we here?
I think we're here to make a contribution. Why do you think everyone
Just one
worries so
sentence.
much about legacy?
Oh, okay. David, finally, why are we here? One sentence, please.
I don't know, and I don't care.
I don't know and I don't care. Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. Hang on, Rick. I know you have something to add. Now this is interesting. Here's another question I'm going to ask you, and just answer me. If you don't want to answer this question, just say I prefer not to answer. Okay, but just answer me if I could, and I'm going to go straight across the line that I have on the screen. If you could tell me, David, are you a religious person?
As you know, I'm not.
You're not. Okay. Do you believe in an afterlife?
I am a deist. I believe in God, but I don't believe in religion.
But do you believe in an afterlife?
Yes.
You do. Rob, are you a religious person?
No, I don't believe in religion. I believe in a personal relationship with God, and I believe in an afterlife.
Okay, Josh.
No and no.
No and no. Rick, religion?
Also, don't believe in religion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe in an afterlife. I can't prove either. Religion is bullshit, but I can't prove that there is no God or afterlife, but I don't believe in that.
Jason, are you religious?
No, straight up atheist.
What's that?
Straight up atheist.
Straight up, do I dare ask you what kind of atheist you are?
An atheist.
But because there are quite a few different atheists in the world.
I was brought up to be Presbyterian, and I thank my church for becoming an atheist because they encouraged me to ask questions, and they couldn't give me answers to my questions, so I just kind of started thinking too, and why are my ancestors' gods not real, but your ancestors' gods are real?
Okay,
so.
that's a good point. And afterlife for you?
That was the hardest part to get over with, but I don't. I think you're just worm food.
No afterlife. But you used to believe in an afterlife.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rin, religious?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. What's the difference? Because I hear it all the time.
More structured.
Religion's more structured. Okay, so you believe that there's some force or spaghetti monster or something is making the stuff move around there. I guess that's. I mean, I don't mean to mock the spiritualism, but it's kind of a nebulous term to me at times. That's why I'm just trying to get.
But it's important to me to make that distinction.
Okay.
Because religion is so much the thumb on people. You know what I mean?
The root of all evil.
Yeah.
It causes problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but spirituality, you still have the wanting to do the right thing, wanting to help people, want to make them happy.
Something else is out there that's greater than us.
Yes.
Okay, and
the short answer is yes.
Afterlife?
Yes.
Yes. Teresa?
Reincarnation.
Oh, reincarnation. Teresa?
Yes.
Religious?
Now, yes, and okay, and this is where Rick and I totally disagree with each other.
Forget about Rick. He's not even on the screen. It's you we're talking to.
Yeah, I have to say, I've had, and it's, I won't go into all the gory details, but there have been some really profound things that have happened to me in my life that I truly believe that there is, and I was raised Catholic, Irish Catholic, but I don't practice that religion anymore. I'm tolerant of all religions and everybody's right to honor whoever it is they believe is out there. But I do believe that there is something that we don't know, and I think that that there is definitely an afterlife.
There's definitely an afterlife. Charlene, religious? No microphone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there you go.
No, I'm not religious.
Not religious. Afterlife?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's it. You're really on the fence about all of this. Okay, I don't know. Religion, but maybe afterlife. What is the determining factor you think that will make your mind up on an afterlife? I guess when you get there?
Right.
Okay, there is an afterlife. I'm here, there's an afterlife.
I get there and there is one.
That's
it.
Okay, so maybe there's an afterlife. So it's a possibility there's an afterlife. Okay. And Jeff, final person to ask, are you religious?
Religious, no. Spiritual, yes. And I'll say it like this: I believe in a higher power, and that, to me, that higher power is my long deceased grandfather, who I knew very well. So you see people that say, "Oh, what would Jesus do?" I say, "Oh, what would AB do?"
Okay.
And that's my higher power.
Not the Force. The Force is not with you.
Oh yeah, AB's the Force.
AB is the Force. Okay.
Badass motherfucker.
He's the Master Jedi. And afterlife?
I never thought about it.
Never thought about it. That's interesting.
No, I can only control what I can do. I mean, operate in my area of control, if you will. And when I'm gone, I don't know what's out there. So I don't know. No.
That's interesting. Also, if you're raised as a Jew, Judaism promises no afterlife. There's no heaven. There's no hell.
Right.
So
maybe that's why I don't.
That's part of a cultural thing. So if you ask somebody who was raised as a Jew, they're probably going to have a slightly different viewpoint on afterlife, based on their religious beliefs.
Are there no Jews? Are there no Jews that believe there's any kind of an afterlife or reincarnation or something?
As a kid, you're told you were going to go to heaven if you died, but Judaism itself as far as I know, I'm no Jew expert, but. No Judaism expert, but from everything I learned and was taught, there was no promise of any heaven or hell.
No virgins, no nothing.
No, nothing. Nothing. The only virgin you got was when you got married.
So this is it. Okay,
maybe that's where I got my belief. I didn't know that. Thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for answering those questions. Now that was very interesting to me. What is more interesting to me I think it's the three people who answered that they believe there is an afterlife. I think that was Rob, that was Rin, and Teresa. And did anybody else say there was an afterlife?
Yeah, me.
Oh, David, right. Okay, David as well. So nobody, when I said, why are we here, even intimated anything about so I can go on to the next level, so I can go on and be in that next thing, whatever it is. And I don't know anything about the afterlife. I don't know anything about what you believe the afterlife to be. Most of what I know on the mythology of an afterlife is that it's a better place. It's a better state of being. It's a positive. There's no badness to it. That's most of what I know about any of the mythology I've read about an afterlife. And yet none of you, in answering why are we here, mentioned anything about an afterlife. That's curious to me, and you're not the first people to do that, by the way. And I see Rob is already at the defense, and I don't mean it as a defense, but
no, it's not
as a matter of an explanation. I would love to know that. Hold on, Jason, can you hang on? All right, let me hear from Rob as a matter of explanation as to how that never made it into why are we here.
Because look at the four people that believe it. Nobody said, I'm religious. And it's the religious part of it that says you're here to live a certain life so you can move on to the afterlife, right? None of us are religious. We're spiritual, and we believe in a higher power. But there's none of that, I'm not going to eat meat on Friday, and I'm not going to, I'm going to, go to church on Sunday, and I'm going to obey my parents and do whatever it is that you're told to do. I think that's the real reason, is that we're not religious people.
You're not religious. And also, I think all of you answered in why are we here? You all answered, I have no clue. I don't know. I have no idea. Wasn't that true, Teresa, Rob, David, and Rin? Did you all say, I don't know?
But wait, can I clarify
yes,
please,
please, Teresa.
What I'm saying is, I don't know why I'm here. Per se, however I got here, whether the Big Bang Theory, whatever. I know for myself, and I think that Jeff touched on this earlier, and I wanted to comment on his thoughts, that I personally believe, and this is where you're going to go nuts, Albert, I know it, that we all have something to learn. And I think we do have a purpose here. We're all different. We're all going to have a different purpose, perhaps. But I think ultimately, it's almost like, not that we're being tested, but I have to do something that's going to, do something that matters. Not just to be greedy and make as much money as I can and have the biggest house and the best cars. I think that I'm here to do something that matters to somebody else.
Okay. No, why would that annoy me? That doesn't annoy
me. I thought, when I said that we're here, we all have something to learn. I was going to use the word lessons to learn, but I figured you'd freak out.
No, I don't have a problem with that. Okay. The way anybody thinks is what I want to know about. In fact, I want to learn about the way other people think. That's what I want to know. Rick, I'll get to you in a second. Jason first.
Okay. That was part of when you were saying, why are we here? Part of my thing that I did say was to learn or experience is probably more of what I wanted to say, because that was part of my evolution of going to atheism. I thought that maybe we are all part of God. We're like, the universe, and we're sent down, anybody and everybody is sent down to experience anything and everything, all possibilities. And then once we die, we go back just a bit of information to go back to the higher power.
What kind of atheist says we're all part of God? What kind of an atheist are you?
That was part of my evolution.
A Unitarian.
My goodness.
Different methods and thoughts on it.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
And then dude, I'm smoking pot. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever it is. I think David would say that too. That is all bullshit, right, David?
Yes.
I know you don't care about this conversation. You're vastly bored by this.
No, I absolutely care about the conversation.
Oh, okay. Good.
I've read many books on and religion is man-made.
Well, so you would say, I would agree with you, but there are many people that would not say that, and they strongly believe it, and to them, there's nothing more wrong than to say that, because God made religion. Yes. God is the basis for religion. Josh, go ahead. Josh.
Well, I know you're at the end, so
yes.
I just want to bring it full circle and say you started out in the beginning talking about, people sitting down and eating together. Some people talk whatever, entertainment or whatnot, but we should go out to eat sometime because this is my idea of dinner conversation.
Oh, but that's why I call this the public house, because I can do this all night and I can do this for hours. And I have when I go to Massachusetts to be with my friend Matt, he and I have had some deep conversations about stuff like this, even stuff that was even deeper than this, and he remembers from 2 decades ago conversations we've had just like this. So I don't have a problem doing this, and I don't have a problem talking about clips for sale, whatever it is. I can talk on both of those things. So yes, I think conversation and being with other people is the essential thing in life.
Right.
And
some people take the opposite. My wife, her idea of eating is just to eat. I mean,
well, a lot of people are like
my
that.
idea of dinner is arguing with someone about whether or not we could have opened a second front in Europe in 1942 instead of 1944. So that's why I like the show.
Well, I don't know if I'd be very helpful in that conversation, but certainly things like that, absolutely, no question about it. I love talking about all kinds of stuff, and I think that's what makes a world. And what the purpose is doesn't really matter to me, because if this is what goes on, then I'm quite comfortable living life. And I'm sorry for those people who don't get to do this, who don't get the opportunity to be with other people who can expand themselves. And it's why I say at the end of the show, thank you for enriching my life, because this kind of thing really matters to me. And you ask my wife and she'll tell it, he can talk forever. It has nothing to do with talking forever. It has to do with connections with other people. That's what it's all about for me. Rick, I'm sorry you were waiting a while.
No, that's okay. No problem. I know you're running out of time here. But I want the question of why we're here is not as simple as it sounds.
No, of course not.
There's multiple layers of your interpretation of why we're here. And, everybody's, when you say why we're here, I think Teresa and I took it as, why do we exist as an entity? Well, why?
But a lot of people take it that way.
But then if you take it and say, well, I exist because my purpose is to do these things, well, that still doesn't, to me, that doesn't answer your question of why you're here. There's a whole different thing going on there.
Then let me ask in closing, just a quick yes or no. And I know, again, this is not a scientific thing. There's nothing right or wrong about this. But a quick yes or no. Will that question ever be answered by humanity? David, why are we here? Will that ever be answered? No. Rob, will that ever be answered?
No.
Josh, will that ever be answered?
No.
Rick, will it ever be answered? Why are we here?
No.
Jason, ever?
No.
Jeff, will that ever be answered?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately, no. Charlene, wake up. Will that ever be answered?
No.
No. Teresa, will that ever be answered? Why are we here?
I can't say no.
You can't say no.
How do we know? How do we know it will never be answered?
Wow, that's heavy. That's some heavy stuff.
Deep,
you got to come up to
man.
Massachusetts with Matt and I when we're drinking our Maker's Mark. Rin,
I've
will it
done
ever
it.
be answered?
I'm Irish. I like
Yeah.
that stuff.
What's that?
I said I'm Irish. I like that stuff.
No, Rin was answering. Oh, yeah, you
Sorry.
like Maker's Mark. Yeah, Rin, what was your
Yeah.
answer? You think it will be
Yes.
answered? You think the answer to the question why are we here will be answered in the lifetime of humanity?
I think it will come to us in death.
In the afterlife.
Yes.
Oh,
Well-
so there will not be one general answer that
CNN is
humanity
not
will
going to
have.
publish the story why we're here.
Well, but I guess that's what I'm getting at. Will CNN ever be able to have that as breaking news? But you say the answer to that
New
is
York
going to
Times
come.
will.
You say the answer to that is going to come. Right, exactly. The answer to that is going to come to you, Teresa, Rob, and David, right when you die, or shortly thereafter. When you go to wherever
some of
you're
us are
going.
going to
I
go,
think that
shit.
Right, yeah. Oh, man, that's what it is? Oh, wow. I should have done that.
Missed it by
All right.
that much.
Well, I tell you what, it's been fascinating. I appreciate having all of you guys with a lot of great feedback and a lot of back and forth. And hopefully I won't be doing this quite that often, but I was going to get to this anyway. And my friend asked me if I ever talk about serious stuff, and this has been one of the shows that's been very serious and thought provoking. That's what I liked about it, and it's something I appreciate all of you being here for, not just tonight, but every night that you're here, and the people that are on the panel. on other times that aren't here tonight. You guys as well, and the people that aren't on the panel, get on the panel. You can be part of this. Time for the last word on Albert's Public House. Rob, last word.
Thank you.
Josh, last word.
Gracias.
Rick, last word.
Carlos Castaneda.
Jason, last word.
I'm thrown now. Purpose.
Jeff, last word.
Gandhi.
Charlene, last word.
Afterlife.
Teresa, last word.
Buddha.
Rin, last word.
Happiness.
And the bouncer on Albert's Public House tonight, David, what is your last word?
Great show, Albert.
Great show, Albert. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate everybody being on the Citizen panel tonight. Tomorrow, I'm back with alcohol. So it won't be it won't be as serious as it was tonight. But if you want to get on and discuss a little more about that tomorrow, we can do it. Otherwise, I'll bring it up another time. The Alex Bennett Ramble is next with a Citizen panel that is live. So be on that. I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Thursday. Don't forget that Revelstoke Jim's Canadian content is on tonight at midnight. I'll see you tomorrow at 9, and I thank you for enriching my life.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Okay, fuckity bye.